So up next we have Captain Fahad Masood, who is a globally recognized aviation leader with over 25 years of experience, currently driving advancements in the AM space in general and more specifically with eVTOLs. Being a member of the Advanced Air Mobility Institute, a former squadron leader, and a rated flight instructor, Masood's expertise spans advanced air mobility, UAVs and eVTOL integration, aviation safety risk management, and the critical area of UTM and ATM integration. He is instrumental in developing AAM strategies as evidenced by his work on Oman's vertiports introduction and incorporation strategy, and he contributes to the field through publications, presentations at international forums, and the development of AAM curricula for institutions like IET Area's Aeronautical Business School. Masood's unique blend of operational experience, academic rigor, and strategic vision position him as a key figure in shaping the future of aviation. So the floor is yours, Captain Masood, and thank you
Thank
very much
you.
for joining us today.
Pleasure being here. Thank you, Chris. I hope you guys can see my presentation screen and my video and audio is clear as well.
Yep, all good.
Super. Thank you. Thanks everyone who's been here before, all the presentation speakers who've come across, very enlightening, empowering, and good sense of where AM space is heading. My presentation today relates to a few important facets. And mind you, this is not a deep dive into quantum computing or qubits, but it's more of a strategic policy doctrinal direction of how AM space, specifically UTM and ATM integration, can facilitate each other. And how does quantum come into the equation as well? So the growth that we have seen has been magnanimous. May it be the aviation side, may it be the expansion of the UAVs. Now is the time for a paradigm shift which is required. The reason is very simple. Conventional computing or digital computing, as we know it, is reaching its epitome of efficiency. The fuel efficiency needs to be increased. The computational limits have been reached. The quantum systems right now can work, if I were to give this a number, 10,000 times more fast than what the digital or conventional computing can operate. This will reduce hugely in the resource allocation requirement, increase in efficiency. In case of taxi time, for example, can and will be reduced by 15% by these information bases. This is a transformative solution. And remember, mind you, over the next few minutes, I'll be speaking on solutions and solutions only to all challenges that come across. Our focus here today is go into the strategic policy and the doctrinal side of it, and that is where our presentation will end up. The mix from UTM and ATM both will have a very complex equation which needs to be solved. And quantum computing gives us a solution, if not the solution, to the whole gambit or of the puzzle that we have. So that
Sorry to interrupt, Captain, just to double check. We're still stuck on one slide. I'm not sure.
Yes. I hope that's working now for you guys. The slide's moving, yes or no?
No, it's not moving
All right.
at the moment.
Okay, just a sec. Let me have a look. Okay, let me see. How about now? Any movement on the slides?
Yes.
All right. Yes. Good. That makes sense. Pardon me for going into the intro without the slide, but let's look into a few important facets. As we speak, there is a huge congestion challenge that is being faced by global aviation organizations. FAA in 2022 very specifically said that the delay costs wrapped up to about $33 billion US overall, and $8 billion for the direct airline losses. The strategic aspect of this is once again a combination from the advanced air mobility space and the quantum computing. There can be, as a solution, IBM has come across with their Heron chip, which is a quantum based solution. FAA and IBM can sit around on the same table, find scalable real-time route optimization options, which is one way to go ahead. UAV is growing leaps and bounds as we know it. Conservative number, is given to be about 50 billion US dollars of an industry by 2030. This is about with an 18% CAGR or cumulative annual growth rate. So this is where we're looking for solutions to these challenges. We need regulations, which we've touched upon before. These regulations have to be, one, risk-based, two, need to be adaptive. Why risk-based and adaptive? Because this is an ever-changing, evolutionary society, and things are moving way fast. Dynamic airspace zoning and priority protocols is another thing that can come across, and quantum computing can play a role here as well. The simulations is one of the forte of quantum computing, basics of which we will touch in the next slide. This can increase efficiency of resolutions to traffic flow problems by about 40%. The solution is, one, funding. Finance has to go in. We all know research is a resource-intensive activity. This resource-intensive activity has to be forced to push across. It can be sandboxed in high-density corridors in terminal areas like JFK International and some places in New York, in European Union as well. Another aspect, which is security, various types of security to be exact. Cyber is just one of them. Quantum, with its solution of having keys which we conventionally use as the AES 256 or the RSA or the ECC, which is normally being used, can be replaced by the NIST products. And these are Crystals, Kyber, the dilithium option, Falcon, Sphinx, Sphinx Plus. They're all solutions to these data security challenges that we have. We need to have solutions which are scalable, which can be improved, increased in size. Quantum readiness can be embedded. ICAO's Net Zero 2050 roadmap can be used. European Union's single European sky policy revisions can come into play. Holding patterns reduced, we can increase or optimize climb and descent profiles by the use of these quantum solutions as well. My favorite is the policy solution. This is where everything comes together and we find out a good way to resolve this challenge. The FAA Reauthorization Act is one policy which can embed or imbibe quantum computing. CSAR, JU, or the Single European Skies ATM research and the joint undertaking that they've had, this can also utilize the same. 3P is a solution as well, which can be utilized. Public-private partnerships will facilitate this as well. As a quick takeaway, we need to accelerate going through the 3P solution, as I mentioned, and we need to make sure that this alignment, harmonization between international agencies to foresee and forecast the future challenges. Agendas need to be looked at, something that I mentioned before, FAA Reauthorization Act, CSAR from EU, ICAO's Net Zero. These are all plans that can come across. A few quick definitions or looks at what is quantum computing. This will give us a wholesome understanding. Quantum application has been there done by stalwarts in IT, may it be Google, may it be IBM, may it be Microsoft. And this research is not new, has been happening 17 to 20 years back and still is at the cusp of going commercial. So the idea is, once again, leveraging the principles of quantum mechanics, and this generates solutions which are not possible by digital computers or conventional computers. Unlike what we have, the linear-based solutions, this is exponential that will force solutions in the future as well. A quick comparison between the conventional or digital computer as well as the quantum. Digital always works in zeros and ones. Quantum focuses on both. Superposition is a concept which we'll touch upon right now. The states of 0 and 1 are difficult to imbibe right now, but they are possible in superposition. They facilitate, the quantum computing enhances its speed, efficiency, and capability, utilizing this as one, and entanglement as two. Position of one state or one item or one atom or one subatomic particle at one place, and at the other place they will react in exactly the same way because they are entangled with each other. This is a quantum principle that is looked at. Utilizing both of the first two, we have the quantum speed up, where we have increased efficiency, where we can utilize speed as one of the core functions of quantum computer solutions. Just as a number, the US airspace is expected to have about 2.6 million commercial UAVs registered by the end of this year. This will require dynamic routing, which is not possible by the classical computing, considering the Magnum on board. So quantum computing is the go-to solution which will find answers to this challenge. A quick takeaway: we need to unify one, governance; two, funding. We need to bring in standards, make it plausible. Last but not the least, I recommend that there is something known as GQATA, Global Quantum Air Traffic Alliance, which comes together and generates a wholesome, harmonized solution, imbibing advanced air mobility with this solution as well. UTM, ATM, mind you, UTM and UATM are two separate domains. They are interlinked. They have gray areas in between, but UTM stands for UAS, traffic management, which is unmanned aerial systems traffic management, and UATM is urban air traffic management. They have interlinks, but not the same. So ATM, which we know already as air traffic management, focuses on sea tolls overall. Nothing more than that, nothing less. It generates efficiency, focuses on safety risk management. That's what it works for. It also focuses on centralized control. The air traffic control tower, may it be located at the airport or off-site, will have complete control of it. On the other hand, UTM is an evolving framework, which means it is continuously improving, increasing, and changing. But the point is the Magnum that comes into play. The amount of urban air mobility transport or the unmanned aerial systems, commonly known as drones, they will be huge in number, which cannot be focused and resolved by a centralized system. So we need to focus on decentralized solutions. We need to focus on automation, and the numbers don't match for the classical computing. Quantum has to come in, and they need to find solutions for it. So quantum computing, as I mentioned before, has the capacity to look at more than 10,000 variables at one time. This includes UAV swarms, can include manned flights as well. The classical simulations, as per IBM in 2024, specifically said that this conflict resolution time can be reduced to half, 50%. So aeronautical decision-making can be enhanced, and enhanced really, really fast. So these two aspects where we compare UTM, ATM can have a lot of solutions that come together. We can have safety risk management, we can facilitate airspace management, we can have the solutions of efficiency. So quantum computing is a go-to solution. We need to align both quantum, UTM, and ATM. One, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals have already some aspect of infrastructure restructuring. We can look at that as well in a few slides. ICAO's Net Zero 2050 is already there. Sustainability, efficiency is a core product as well. Let's look at another aspect, quantum algorithms. So there are two specifically, the QA-OA and the Grover's algorithm. QA-OA is all to do with potential suitable solutions for computational and optimizational problems like route optimization and scheduling. The routes which we have will be overlapping, considering the same airspace which will be shared, and there will be scheduling challenges of utilizing the same airspace with both conventional CTOLs and the eVTOLs as well as the drone technology. The Grover's algorithm focuses on quantum search. As we speak, aviation generates yottabytes of data at a stretch. This huge data set cannot be catered and found solutions to by finding the right information at the right time. So the quadratic speed up is one way of quantum computing that comes into play here as well. Efficiency, not to mention, as I mentioned before, there is huge issues with traffic flow challenges, which are growing more complex as the time flows, and we need to find solutions of it. Examples as we go through can be looked at reduction in delays, fuel consumption in efficiency, may it be airspace corridors, for both manned and unmanned aircrafts, and we need to dynamically adjust traffic flow to respond for unforeseen events. USpace is another example from Europe, which has found relative solutions, if not the solution, to combined UTM, ATM frameworks. Let's look at another aspect, data-driven insight. I mentioned yottabytes of data already there. The analysis requires fast architecture networks, which will be able to look at huge amounts of data, as I mentioned before, and generate solutions for the same. A few statistics that come our way. We're looking at NASA's 2023 statement, where it specifically mentions we need optimized routes which reduce fuel consumption. And this can be done by 5 to 12% per flight if we utilize quantum computing. Furthermore, reducing the carbon footprint by about 4.5 million tons of CO2 per year. On the other hand, IBM mentions in its research, as something which I've touched upon before, 10,000 variables can be looked at. This includes weather variations, patterns, UAVs, conventional as well as eVTOL vehicles. This will facilitate rerouting capability as well. A prime case study, if we look at this, taxi time has been reduced just using AI, not the quantum computing based, just the conventional computing that we have, or digital computing, which we already have in vogue. And if quantum computing comes into place, this will exponentially increase the efficiency of any ATM domains. So data fusion, something which can be looked at to utilize UTM, ATM data, and quantum computing is the go-to solution for this. Aeronautical decision-making, may it be air traffic management, pilot in the cockpit, remote piloted vehicles, even AI-driven. So decisions have to be made, and those can be facilitated by quantum computing solutions. So the speed is key. As we know, data is going across the aviation world, left, right, center. It needs to be fused, integrated, utilized to make the best possible, or find the best possible solution. Acceleration has to come into place as we increase this data multifold, as we go through the tipping point, as we call it. Quantum computing will give us a solution for it. The next is the advantage that comes in. A lot of people talk about real time. In my humble opinion and learned opinion, this is near real time, because everything that I've spoken to you, or I'm speaking to you right now, is not live. It's near real time. So near real time data, as well as complex traffic flows, is something that we need to look at. Dynamic adjustments, which indicate to find solutions in near real time aspects as well. SA, no matter how much we talk of this, it will always be less. The situational awareness, once gained and maintained, sustained by aviators globally, may it be conventional or eVTOLs, they will need more facilitation because of the data overload that is being provided. And this is primarily required by ATCOs. as well as flight deck operators or managers or pilots, as we call them. So a good strategic takeaway, I recommend that we have a QATC, which is Quantum Air Traffic Consortium, where people or the air traffic control comes together and we find solutions to the same. This is once again intended, not short-term, but a long-term solution by 2035. Prediction, right now, data is God, as we call it, and predictive capability comes into place automatically. Quantum can facilitate this predictive capability, may it be on the maintenance front or the decision-making front. Sensor fusion, data fusion can facilitate this. We can, and we have already got this capacity, capability, competency to find out solutions to problems that will be there in the future, not right now, and generate modeling for it as well. The aircrafts or any flying machine never makes money staying on ground. It has to be airborne. So the reliability of the systems can be facilitated by quantum computing as well. Disruptions is something nobody wants. It is supposed to be in the air, and that is where the solutions are. Delta Air has previously utilized artificial intelligence, conventional digital computing, and has saved about $100 million in the process. As well as the UAV fleets can utilize the same technology and go into solution. So takeaway strategically, policy-wise, we need quantum predictive analysis, one. Two, we need to make it a pillar of the ICAO's global aviation plan, because quantum computing is the future of aviation. ComSec, data security, data governance is something which is very important. As I mentioned before, we've already been utilizing the AES 256, the RSA, the ECC, codes, keys, and information sharing systems. Now we need to move into the quantum side, which is the NIST solution, crystals, Kyber, crystals, dilithium, Falcon, Sphinx Plus. They will all give us solution in the process. So quantum key distribution, just like blockchain, is difficult to hack, if not impossible. So data is being shared on open networks, considering CPDLCs and ACARs in conventional. In case of eVTOLs and drones, it is through 2.5 or 2.4 or 5 kilohertz or megahertz frequency. This is once again hackable. The solution is quantum computing once again. The solutions that come across will facilitate information security, will ensure that the integration of UTM, ATM, and everybody speaks the same language, same frequency, same wavelength. So cyber threat, which is an ongoing problem challenge which is being faced globally by aviation, can be facilitated with quantum computing. So quantum cryptography, something that I've mentioned before, wouldn't like to reiterate there, and United Nations and ICAO, the aviation security toolkits in both domains can imbibe these solutions as well. So a few policy level perspectives, something that we continue to touch upon. We need regulatory frameworks, something that my colleagues have talked about before. These need to be international regulations under ICAO because they need to be harmonized in the process. ATMs have to integrate UAVs. There is no other solution. RPA, RPAS, eVTOLs, all of them, we are all sharing the same airspace. So the integration has to be there. Policy-wise, we need to have quantum as one of the core go-to solutions to these ATM in data-intensive networks which are coming across. We need standardization. We need to have solutions which come across on workforce training. Excuse me, because they are these are new systems, new architecture, new ways of doing things. A few recommendations that come into place for policymakers is to take this at the grand strategic level, let it have a trickle-down effect down below. The traffic optimization has to be there, and this needs to be as a solution to overall picture of things. So alignment is key. One, ICAO needs to take charge in this domain as well. Talked of policy, let's look at a few strategic issues. We're looking at long-term solutions. Quantum computing, air traffic management is one of the go-to things that come across. Infrastructure-wise, operational procedures, they need to be revamped, redone to facilitate or incorporate quantum computing. Everybody has to be in picture. May it be the technology providers, the regulatory framework generators, the industry stakeholders, the research institutions, academia, the government agencies, all stakeholders need to collaborate as one to generate solutions. Where do we take it from here? Future perspective, it's all to do with strategic initiatives which need to start now. And if we start now, 5 to 10 years down the line, we will be reaping the fruit of the correct policy directives that have gone in place from this point onwards. So ATM needs to go autonomous, utilize quantum computing, imbibe UTM as well. Aeronautical decision making, enough talk on that, needs to be looked at. SDG 9, something which we talked of before. The Sustainable Development Goals from United Nations already talks of a resilient infrastructure. We need to utilize this quantum computing doing the same. So three things, three benefits as takeaways. One, we need to improve efficiency. Quantum computing is the go-to solution. Enhance safety risk management, quantum computing again. ComSec, quantum computing again. We need to look at these at quantum computing as a solution to aviation and ATM, UTM confluence, because there is no other way around. Data will be there. It will continue to increase even beyond 10 raised to the power 24 bytes, which is a iota byte of information every flight. And we need to find solutions for this. These are the references which I've used for my talk. Excuse me for the pace, but I needed to share a lot of information with you guys. Over to you, Chris.
No worries at all. And thank you very much for that very interesting and very insightful presentation, Captain Masood.